Hey, this is Gary from 3Bug Media, and today we're going to be talking about advertising campaign metrics that you should be tracking anytime you run an advertising campaign. Now, when it comes to advertising, the only way you're going to get better and you're going to get good at advertising is if you continually improve your campaigns. And the only way you can improve your campaigns is if you're tracking important metrics for those campaigns, you're analyzing them, and you're making changes and improvements to your ad campaigns. Okay, so here we're going to talk about some basic campaign metrics you should be tracking. Depending on what kind of advertising you're going to be doing, you'll probably have a couple other metrics you may be tracking, but these are the core ones. So if you don't do anything else, if you track these, at least you'll have a very good idea if how that ad campaign is performing and if it fits with your business. So some of the things we want to track is, number one, we want to track our campaign costs. We want to know how much that advertising campaign is going to cost. If that's a $1,000 newspaper ad, or you're spending $2,000 a month on Google AdWords, or a $500 Facebook ad, something like that, you want to know how much you're spending. You also want to know what your reach is. So did that campaign reach 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 20,000 people? For online advertising, it's super easy. You'll see that in an instant in your data. With newspaper ad or TV or something like that, you'll have to kind of take the bloated metrics that the advertising company gives you and just kind of figure it out from there. Next thing you want to know is number of leads generated. So you want to know how many leads have been generated for that campaign, and you also want to know how many sales you made. And then finally, you want to know what your total sales were. So how much money did you make in total for that advertising campaign? So once you have these numbers, then we can do a little bit of math and figure out some important metrics that you can track, okay? First one we're going to do is we're going to figure out our cost per lead. And that's really easy. So we're going to take our campaign cost and we're going to divide that by the number of leads the campaign generated. So if your campaign cost $100 and you generated 5 leads, you would have a cost per lead of $20 per lead. So that's the first one that you want to know. Second one is cost per sale. Same thing. You want to take your campaign cost, you want to divide it by your number of sales, and that'll give you your cost per sale. So same thing. If your campaign cost you $100 and you made 2 sales, your cost per sale would be $50 each. So it costs you $50 to make 1 sale. Next one we want to know is cost per impression. Not as important, but it's still really good to know, because you want to know how much is it costing you to get your ad in front of somebody, okay? And with that, we're going to look at your campaign reach. Same thing, like I said before, if it's online advertising, it's an easy number to get. You'll track your reach. If it's offline advertising, you'll kind of have to get an idea of what they tell you their reach is. So you can take your campaign reach and divide it by total sales. So for math purposes, if your reach was 100 and you made $1 in sales, then your cost per impression is 1 cent. So it costs you 1 penny to get your ad seen by somebody with that advertising, okay? And then lastly, we want to know our average sale value. So we're going to take our total sales and we're going to divide it by the number of sales we made. So if we made $1,000 in total sales and we made 10 sales, the average sale value would be $100 per sale, okay? So now we have 4 important metrics, 4 important numbers here. We know our cost per lead, cost per sale, cost per impression, and the average sale value, okay? And these are really important things to know. How many leads you're getting, how many sales you're making, and what's the value of each of those sales or each of those customers, okay? And once you have these numbers, what you want to do is you want to measure it against your other advertising campaigns. And you want to see if the cost per leads are too high, or they're really great, or the average order value is way too low compared to other campaigns. And this is where you can start evaluating once you have these numbers, and you can decide if this is a worthwhile advertising campaign. So once you kind of go through these, then you have basically 3 decisions to make. You can keep this campaign, you can improve it, or you can scrap it. Okay, and really, if you're going to keep it, you're going to improve it anyway. The key with advertising and marketing in general is you always want to figure out how can you make it a little bit better. Or at the very least, you want to start testing, do some A/B testing, test different offers, headlines, things like that. So once you have these numbers, you can decide, well, we're going to keep it, we're going to keep improving it, or it just didn't work at all. It was a total mess. Let's scrap it and let's go try something else. We don't want to waste any more time on this. There's much better opportunities in other places. Okay, so like I said, these are basic metrics, but these are super important. So anytime you do advertising, whether it's online advertising, print advertising, you always should know these numbers on here, because that's the only way you're going to get better, and you're not going to be like most businesses where you spend money on advertising, on print ads or TV ads year after year, and you still have no idea if they make any money for you, or you're losing money on them or not. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can go to 3bugmedia.com. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Thank you very much, and have a good day.